Every brand tells a story. And they are the storytellers. The Sutradhars. They present a brand with band, baja and barat to you. They are the Brandwallahs. He is a marketing specialist with over 15 years of extensive experience and currently heads marketing at a leading private health insurance provider in India. Nimish Agarwal, Executive Vice President and Head of Marketing at Niva Bupa. He has led the marketing function at a diverse set of power brands like Dulux, Britannia and Henkel across India, Middle East and South Asia. In his current role, he leads Niva Bupa's brand planning, communications, digital and social media platforms, consumer insights and loyalty and customer relationship management. He is our Brandwallah.
The word policy comes from an ancient Latin word, which means politia. Now, politia meant the rights of citizenship. It's a form of promise that the king makes to his citizen. So, policy in itself means promise. People will probably have difference of opinion and will call me probably not well educated. A lot of people are talking about generative AI. And we've gone to a lot of workshops, we are doing a lot of use cases. But is it worth the conversation and the chatter is it driving? I'm not sure.
Hello and welcome. You're watching the Brandwallahs. I'm Krishnakumar and I'm with Mr. Nimish Agarwal, Executive Vice President and Chief Marketing Officer at Niva Bupa Health Insurance. Nimish, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on the Brandwallahs. Great talking to you. I want to begin by asking this. You come from a family of doctors and you, the eldest of all children, still chose marketing as your calling. That must have taken quite some inspiration.
It is not inspiration, it essentially is fate. And the story is very typical, a family that believes in fate and religion. So my parents, I'm the eldest of the family. The parents were deciding, in 10th standard you decide which field will you take, science or bio. And they said that I'm good in studies. They themselves were struggling. It's much later that they now own 3 hospitals. But when I was going through this saying, yeah, we are not doing very well in the medical field. And one of my dad's closest friend was an engineer from IIT Mumbai. And he was living abroad and had all kind of material comfort, etc. And then my dad said that, I'm biased towards medical as a field, but probably he will do much better in America or elsewhere if he becomes an engineer. So he flipped a coin. And that's how I ended up being an engineer.
You ended up being an engineer.
Yes.
And from there, how did marketing happen?
I realized very early, one good strength that I have is that I'm very conscious of my own limitation. I realized that coding is not for me. I'm good at speaking, I'm good at coming up with ideas, solving problems. Engineering college is 4 years, right? So it also gives you a lot of time to explore yourself. It was not a chosen field. The coin landed a certain way and hence I found myself in a very good engineering college. But that is where I realized my personality would be different as I see it, and coding is not for me. So I pursued MBA in marketing and sales, and that's how the career started.
Okay, so talk to us about what you're doing right now. Right now, you're marketing something that's not exactly easy to market. There's nothing that's easy to market, but if there are, some particular products, especially financial products like health insurance, which come with so many regulations, and also, you're talking to the audience at a time when they're vulnerable, or they themselves are worried about something, and yet you should not seem like somebody who's causing panic, and yet be the solution provider, so to speak, over here. And all of this means that they need to trust you. The people need to trust you. The trust factor is paramount, isn't it?
The word trust is enshrined in the entire insurance business. It's a category that works on delayed gratification. And when you use the product or when you use the service, you are in a hospital. All is not well. There is emotions, there are things that are outside your control. Now you want someone to come through for you. You may have bought a policy many years back, but at that point in time, you want someone to come through for you. So this is a category where trust is amongst the most important, and trust is very hard to build. You can't say, I can't run an advertisement which says that trust me. Why should they trust you, right? It is 64% of the people buy policy based purely on word of mouth because they trust their friends, they trust their family. 78% of people go to Google to do research, and what essentially is their research is they are looking at feedback of other people. So a lot of people today believe in the wisdom of other people before them who've taken a policy. And one of the biggest things that we're doing is that we're trying to drive the honest narrative of a consumer who's a Niva Bupa policy holder and has gone through a claim. If you look at the social media feed of all insurance players, there is a lot of negativity, there's some positivity. Unfortunately, like in most categories, the negativity spills far and wide compared to the positivity. And one of the pillar in our strategy is called Smile Ko Claim Kar Le. This is real stories, real people, and real impact that health insurance makes. Very few people will be aware that health insurance as an industry today pays 250 crore in claims per day. By the time we'll be done talking, about 15-20 crores would have already been paid, right? Now, you don't hear it, but when you see those people, and people don't believe facts and figures, but when they see a story of a human being, I think it's gonna drive more trust.
But these are the days when there's a strong debate that's going on about health insurance premiums being too high and unaffordable, and many people even pausing. There have been some reports about people pausing their medical or health insurance because they just can't afford it anymore. So what is the way forward, and how, in an environment like this, how do you communicate to the consumer that this is the right thing to do? First of all, agree to the product called as health insurance.
See, I think times have changed. Pre-COVID, people used to say why. Now people ask how much. So the category has gone through has leapfrogged many years, right? So that realization that it's not just a piece of paper used for tax rebate, etc. It is a piece of paper which will come in handy when you would need it the most. I think that realization people have started having. There's a surge in health insurance demand. I've never heard about health insurance before joining health insurance. But the amount of debate that's happening on health insurance is testimony to the fact that the category has come into being. So that's one. Second is
so does that mean that your job as a marketer is getting easier by the day?
No, my job as marketer is getting interesting by the day. I'll tell you why, right? It's difficult you have very few levers when the consumer is not interested. You have very few levers when the consumer is not interested. You have a lot of levers when the consumer is interested. There's a reason why there are 17 kinds of toothpastes in the country. From herbal to charcoal to whatnot. Does the consumer need 17?
17 seems like a small number. Actually, there's to be more.
Yeah. There's 17 toothpaste which are very different from each other in terms of proposition.
Oh, okay.
Right? So one is saying gel, but the point I'm trying to drive home is that when the consumer starts caring, the marketer starts having fun.
Okay.
You start personalizing, you start differentiating, you start building a persona. Okay. There are 40 things that you could do, right?
Okay.
So my job is getting interested because the consumer is becoming interested. The more the consumer becomes interested, more as a marketing fraternity, we'll have levers to pull.
When it comes to doing online campaigns and leveraging social media, what is the strategy when it comes to the communication of health insurance as an essential, in fact, as a financial essential that people should have?
So when we transitioned from Max Bupa to Niva Bupa, we said that there are three things that we won't do. First, we will not monger fear, and that's the reason why our proposition is called Zindagi Ko Claim Kar Le. Health insurance should empower you to live a good life, because health is the starting point of any experience that you would want to collect in life, right? So this is our communication strategy, right, which is media agnostic. Whether it is digital, print, radio, etc., we always talk about positive things that can happen when you have the right health insurance partner, positive things that can happen if you're healthy and you take care of your health. Now that's a horizontal for us. Now the second thing that we do is we try and make health insurance very conversational. One of the biggest paradox in the category is that, like you and me are talking, we were talking before this and we'll be talking after this, we discuss many things but we don't discuss health insurance. Health insurance ki baat karte hi na, you become a little stiff upper lip jeeves, right? And the point, as a marketer, the challenge for us is, why can't we make health insurance conversational? We're the first ones and we're investing a lot of our time and effort in making the benefits of the policies, the feature of the policies very conversational. Over the last 4 years, my team has created a cloud of 45 assets where you would see a health insurance conversation happening in a gym, in an office, during celebration, during Raksha Bandhan, during watching a game, playing board games with your friends, in all possible occasions which typically do not fit into a health insurance narrative. It is as much a product for sick and anxious as it is for healthy and joyous. So that's our communication strategy, and it is the central underpinning is Zindagi Ko Claim Kar Le.
Tell us, since you've marketed so many different products and services before you landed into health insurance, is this more difficult than some of the other marketing roles that you had to play?
It's very difficult. It's very difficult. It's very interesting as well. It's very difficult. I believe product marketing and service marketing are two different ballgames.
Okay.
That's one. Second, I think high involvement category and low involvement category play out very differently. Third, a physical category and not physical, but a category where you buy the service and consume the service now, like a hotel, hospitality. They have their challenges, but you can build an experience and manage an experience at a certain point, right? If I was marketing a hospitality chain, I would spend a lot of time in a controlled environment because the hospitality chain is owned by me. Unlike a category like health insurance, where the product is intangible, it is regulated category, and the point of consumption is hospitals, where insurers do not have a direct control. So all these things put together, it is complex. It's very complex and very interesting.
But talk to us in terms of what, according to you, is buzzing in the world of marketing. It could be an ad campaign that you saw, or a marketing initiative, or anything. What, according to you, is the big buzz as far as the world of marketing is concerned? And in fact, specifically speaking, what is the big buzz as far as health insurance marketing is concerned?
I think personalization is a very, very big buzz. It's been going around for a while. You see one or two campaigns which use dynamic creative optimization from Mondelez, etc. which tells us about the power of personalization. The only problem is the personalization lasts like the 30-second ad film. It doesn't extend beyond that. If we have to ensure the 140 crore citizens of ours, which is very, very important for us, it cannot be a catch-all proposition. And marketing teaches you that you have to come up with interesting proposition, because everybody's reason to not buy health insurance is very different. Okay. Right? So how do we use and leverage the power of personalization? You don't want to buy health insurance because you think you're young? Okay, here's a proposition for you. Okay. You don't want to buy it because you have a disease which doesn't get covered? Okay, here's a proposition for you, and so on and so forth, right? So the power of personalization and leveraging...
Which also means that like marketing plays an instrumental role in the creation of products. In terms of, you see what the target audience is and where there's a lack of demand, and then you work it back in terms of, what is the product that you can offer.
The product team and the marketing team at Niva Bupa are joined at the hip. They're the ones who understand the product and we understand the consumer.
And I'm guessing that has to be the way forward for not just for health insurance but across the board.
Yeah. Even my days in a biscuit manufacturing organization, the R&D team and the brand team, they had an R&D team who knows how to make biscuits, and the brand team would tell, okay, how do we market the biscuit and to whom we market the biscuit. And that's the philosophy that we follow here as well. There's a product team who export their products. They work with the actuarial team, etc., etc. There's a marketing team who drives consumer insighting, right? And that's the way forward. In my mind, personalization is very, very powerful, but it has to spill beyond the advertising.
So let me ask you then, what according to you is blah, in the world of advertising and marketing? What I mean to say is that something that's overhyped, that you think it's like, there's too much of talk about it, but like it's really not worth all that talk.
I think this entire conversation around generative AI, I think is a blah. Because I think a lot of people are talking about generative AI. And we've gone to a lot of workshops, we are doing a lot of use cases, but is it worth the conversation and the chatter is it driving? I'm not sure. It definitely helps us do few things more efficiently. But when has marketing been a big fan of efficiency? We are considered to be a department from ages to be the least efficient people, but the most creative people. The reason why marketing exists and has not been outsourced is because marketers are expected to think out of the box. Marketers have to be brave in the boardroom and outside of boardroom. Marketers have to be creative when they are in the face of constraints. And I'm not sure if any of these things could today be solved by AI. I hate bell curve conversations with my people. I just said that I have a very, very talented team. And I wish there was a solve for bell curves, which HR folks adopt. I think putting diverse set of people into a sinusoidal curve is something that I really hate. We live in an activity where every success is important and every failure is kind of frowned upon. Right?
Is the one thing about your job that you love the most?
I've worked with a very, very talented team. And my team today have people from insurance, and because I'm not spend a lot of time in insurance, I also have people from different categories. And the combination keeps me up. Today, the attempt of our team and the marketing team at Niva Bupa is to make health insurance conversational. And that requires so much of ideation. It's almost like we are trying to solve a category problem and not just Niva Bupa problem. We are part of a category, and whatever the thinking that happens on the category also rubs onto us.
So if I were to paraphrase what you just said, you basically love a good challenge and a good team to tackle that challenge.
100%. We're talking about something which is going to change the life of 140 crore Indians. Most of our people are one health emergency away from going into bankruptcy. Now, if that doesn't wake you up in the morning, if that doesn't get you into your office thinking that I'm going to change something relevant for these people, I'm not sure what else will.
Tell us, what is the one thing about your job that you just don't like, that you detest? And if I were to say the one thing about your job that you hate the most, what would that be?
See, it happens once a year. I'm so thankful it only happens once a year. I hate bell curves. I hate bell curve conversations with my people. I just said that I have a very, very talented team. And I wish there was a solve for bell curves, which HR folks adopt. I think putting diverse set of people into a sinusoidal curve is something that I really hate.
Let me also ask you, Nimish, what is that one advertisement or an ad campaign or a brand campaign, marketing initiative, whatever you want to call it, that one thing that really inspires you the most, the one thing that really stayed with you and continues to inspire you, irrespective of what you're marketing?
If I were to do this career once again as a marketer, I would probably follow the Cadbury example much more closely than I already do. I think the way Cadbury has built the category and created different meaning systems. The same chocolate has got different meaning system, and India has never been a chocolate loving country.
What are you talking about?
We have been a very, very heavy traditional sweet market. Right?
True, fair enough. Yeah.
Over the last 15 years, right? Chocolate has become important in our lives in many different ways. You want to give your girlfriend something, there's a chocolate for it. You want to tell sorry, there's a chocolate for it.
And you're saying all of that was done by Cadbury?
I think Cadbury was the captain, the category captainship with 92% market share.
Correct.
We started this in 2007-8, and I was a young marketer in Britannia at that point in time. And we also had chocolate biscuits.
Okay.
But the way the chocolate category took up is phenomenal. And I think they've got three things very well. One is consistency. They've stayed at it. Kuch meetha ho jaye. B, they have innovated formats. There's a silk, there's a bubble, there's something else, right?
There's always something else.
And third is my favorite. They've looked at different kind of cohorts. So there's a girlfriend, there's an elderly couple, there is a social relevance, etc. It's a conversation starter somewhere, it's I'm sorry somewhere.
Bas kuch meetha ho jaye.
Kuch meetha ho jaye. The tagline of Kuch meetha ho jaye has got multiple connotations.
Yeah.
And I want to copy that to the best of my ability in the health insurance category. There's a health insurance for everybody. There's a health insurance for every occasion.
So you want to copy that? That's what they say in marketing. No, it's not about not copying. It's all about copying and copying right. That's most important in marketing.
Well, there's no shame in building a category in a manner that Cadbury has done for chocolate. And we are hoping that, and we are committed to ensure that Niva Bupa plays a small role in shaping the narrative for the category. Can you gift a health insurance policy to your mom? Of course you can. Has anybody talked about it? Of course not. Why? Because we were dependent on the agent to do the job. Agents are important, advisors are very important, but then what else is marketing doing? Where is the fire cover that the marketing always gives the salespeople? I think that's a job that's been left, and we're very, very excited and committed to complete this missing link.
What would be your message to young marketers entering the profession? They say marketing has changed more in the last, say, 5 to 10 years than ever. In that sense, what would be your message to young marketing professionals entering the business?
The first one is, this too shall pass. we live in a activity where every success is important and every failure is kind of frowned upon, right? We create this hyper competitive world, which is actually all there in our head. There's a failure, it'll pass. There's a success, that too shall pass. Whatever you're doing will pass. The most important thing is keep at it. Keep at it. That's one. The second thing is don't be in a rush. A lot of people who change jobs like me from one category, from one industry to another industry, they are in this rush to hit a 6 in the first 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. And their desire to hit a 6 and their desire to self-validate to themselves and their bosses that they've made a right hire and I'm the right person for the job and I'm a rock star, forces them into doing things which they wouldn't have done in retrospect. And hence my another go-to message is don't be in a rush. All good things take time. All good things happen when you are calm.
Nimish, thank you so much for taking time out to be with us here on the Brandwallahs.
Thank you, Krishna. It was a pleasure meeting you and pleasure interacting with you.
Lovely talking to you.